Hey, welcome to Spoiler Talk for They Don't Come Home Anymore. Um, all right, so let's talk about the ending.
Uh, First of all, here's what I learned about They Don't Come Home Anymore, or about vampires from They Don't Come Home Anymore. If you look hard enough, they're gonna come find you, even though they kind of don't want to be found, right?
Yeah, and that I've seen that before too. Kind of that, even sometimes in not even monster movies, right? But if you're like asking questions about the mob eventually kind of picks you up, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yep.
And it was weird because they were vampires in that you lived forever,
Yeah.
but they had that hive mentality, and it reminded me of God, I forget the name, but Jeremy Robert Johnson's book. Remember where they all
Uh,
have you know what I'm talking about?
I'm not. Is it a story
It,
or?
yeah, no, the book, his last book.
Oh, it was Skullcrack City.
Yeah, well, he had all those people in his head, but that whole like
Oh,
having the
right, right.
access of information from others of your type, quote
Yeah.
unquote, kind of thing. Um, yeah, so I think it's great that she was able to actually pull it off and make Avery into a vampire. I think it was even better that Avery was like, "Fuck, I don't want this," and Hetty was like, "No, you're getting it
Yeah.
anyway."
It's too late,
That
bitch.
was, yeah, I absolutely love that. So that was really good stuff.
And the beautiful thing about that is what starts out as, and as I was saying in the review, what starts out as this kind of meek, overlooked girl, the most twisted, fucked up, scary thing in the entire book is her and what she does to this girl, and how her delusion about their friendship supersedes everything. Like when she discovers that Avery basically poisoned herself because she wanted to go out on a high note, it didn't even fucking pause. Like it didn't even make Hetty like pause for a second. She was just like, "Well, this is how it is. We're gonna be best friends forever." And she was kind of
Yeah,
right because it's
yeah,
because of the hive mind kind of
hmm
thing.
yeah,
Avery was gonna have no choice but to like feel like they were one. And I was like, "That's fucking awesome."
yeah. There was this book was so wacky, and I feel like when we were doing the review, it sounded like we almost like we didn't like it. And my wrap up, and I'm going to talk because we haven't
Yeah.
done the wrap up yet. My wrap up is gonna. I thought of the perfect way to put how I felt about this book, at least in line with the other This Is Horror books. The cell phones was brilliant.
Yep. The cell phones was really cool.
So the cell phones, and then ultimately, it turned into just like I don't know, whatever. It's like scamming people out of money. I
Just
guess I
kind
don't
of
know. It
just
did.
being a little bitch about things.
Yeah, but she was scoring cash off of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was really just if that was by design or if that was just a device for her to have loads of money so she could offer to pay people to find vampires.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I loved it. I absolutely loved it
And it
because
was
this book.
yeah, it was such an aside. It was like, so for anybody who hasn't read it yet but is listening to this anyway, who doesn't care about these spoilers, this is the spoiler talk, so you fucking knew what you're getting into. She would just steal phones from people and do shitty things like call up and say, "Hey, I'm the mistress," and that, or extort people for money, or
Dude, she's
get
like,
people
I'm your
fired from their jobs.
granddaughter, and Grandpa used to touch me in the bathtub. I mean, there
Yeah,
was like some really fucked up shit. Like,
yeah,
oh my
she
god,
was straight up evil about it,
yeah,
and so like, and that's why like I wanted to say, so going back to the birthday party, I got the creeps from that because like this girl's like she's not invited to the birthday party, but she dresses up, tells lies to her parents so that the parents drive her to their house, and just sits in the lawn, like in view of the people who are actually showing up to attend the birthday party. If I read that correctly, the entire time, and then just leaves when it's over, walks home, and it's
yeah,
like, that's creepy shit. That's like weird obsessive behavior. And in the synopsis, it does talk about obsession. That's where I was like, oh, this girl might not be what I thought she was. And then it just continues from there with like her weird behavior and how she like how she handles those stupid like wannabe vampire people.
hmm
Yeah, she's pretty wicked. She ends up being more wicked than you really thought at first.
one drawback. And one thing that didn't work for me at all, and maybe I understand why it was there, but maybe it needed, I don't know, to be reworked a little bit. You know, you had said it's all from Hetty's point of view, and it is, except for that weird chapter that's about the lady who's on the farm and her son comes home and there's three kids there and they're just like hanging out outside
Yeah.
the farm. So I'm pretty sure that's the creature that Hetty talked to. That's the vampire that she actually came into contact with, right? I mean, that's the
Yeah.
only thing that makes any sense. I don't know, man. I don't like. I get it, and I thought it was great on its own,
Yeah,
but
but it
somehow
was
it didn't work in the scope of, for me it didn't work in the scope of the story. Like, it needed to be fleshed out a little more, or something. I don't know. I understand why it was there, and I think that as part of a different story or part of its own longer story, I actually thought it was really fucking creepy and really good. It just felt so out of place.
yeah. If it was not there at all, the story would not suffer for it. But it does add a little bit of more background to what's going on. But yeah, I'll agree. It did seem oddly shoehorned in.
Mhm.
But it's almost like a cautionary tale. Like, hey, I know you want to become a vampire to save your friend, which is weird. But if you do, this is like the horrible shit that your life is going to be.
I almost got the impression from the vampire, and I'm really just going out on my own. I don't necessarily think this is the author's like idea or whatever, but they were like, "Yeah, you've been asking around, so basically we're gonna kill you." And then they were like, "Holy shit, you're fucking nuts! We're gonna put you to work!" Like, almost
Yeah.
like, just as crazy as she was in her crazy ideas, they were like, "Nah, you know what? You'll do well." Like,
Yeah. Like, you are depraved enough. You are, yeah. Yeah, it was good. I think that, and that's the thing that was nice about that was the vampire's misconception of what this girl was and what she was capable of mirrors the way that we thought of her as readers.
oh, that's a good point.
So
That's a very good point.
it works out nicely. But so, and that's the thing about doing a non-spoiler conversation. Usually, like, the thing, unless you just love a story through and through, sometimes like the best parts are the things that you just will not talk about in a review, and that's the case with this. It's like, this one was a sleeper. There was a lot of building to just like this crazy fucked up crescendo of weirdness that was just great.
I could probably talk longer in the spoiler talk that I can, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much good stuff there, but I think we were probably good. We can cut it here, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of nice to do the spoiler talk and then go to our wrap ups, because this helped me kind of solidify some thoughts that I will kind of recover from my criticisms of the book in the wrap up. So yeah, let's jump back over there.